Alright, TGC Requiem back with the first match. Um, Interesting hand. We'll mulligan this. Yeah, so Oath of Druids is just sick, also knowing we have one of our weaker cards in hand. So I think we're just going to actually probably open with Mana Confluence. We already have access to 2 blues, so this can go to the bottom. So the island is just kind of a less aggressive line. Fortunately, we did see Splinter Twin and Exarch. The tap out's great as we can go for Oath of the Druids, which will give us the first whack at it. Okay. Oh, feed my Reanimator strategy. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player chooses target player who controls more creatures than he or she does. So we're going to choose target opponent who controls more creatures. And then we will reveal into Emrakul. I don't want to give him too much black. We don't want to play any creatures or kill his creatures because otherwise he'll get Oath of Druids value. What has he got going on? Just trying to get enough permanents out there so that he doesn't lose them all? Or do you have some relevant removal here? This is some stuff, I gotta say. You can have Phyrexian Metamorph enter the battlefield as a copy of any artifact or creature on the battlefield, except it's an artifact in addition. So that's going to turn into Emrakul. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we can Spellskite. We can path the Spellskite, which will allow us to make him lose his Emrakul. That's good. That's good play, though. I love this. Ah, this is why Cube is so fun. Oh, that was a mistake. That was a mistake. So now he's going to go get a basic. Yeah. There was a small chance maybe he didn't have any basics, but whatever. My Emrakul gets to strike first. Dang it. Each player chooses a number of lands he or she controls equal to the number of lands controlled by the player who controls the fewest and sacrifices the rest. Players discard cards and sacrifice creatures the same way. So I think this will work. Actually, if we play balance, he's going to have to lose a couple lands. And then he will... Yeah. So we kind of got a little lucky here. By sacrificing 2 lands, then he should have less than 6 permanents. He'll have to sacrifice his Emrakul to the Annihilator trigger. Alright, so that's our win for game 1. Woo! I don't even think I had to do all that. It's possible I was giving away too much information. Alright, so what do we got going on here that we saw? We saw Spellskite. We saw black, so it's possible Sword of Feast could be relevant. Activated abilities, Linvala could be decent. We saw Mishra, we saw creatures, just Spellskite. So I think Reflector Mage could be decent, but I don't think we need to. I mean, it just decreases the odds on our Oath. Kind of like where we are. It's possible this game gets a little lengthier and Jace is useful. Didn't see a ton of creatures. He's probably more controlling. I'm going to think that Day of Judgment comes out and Jace comes in. Okay, so this is not keepable. I mean, I suppose we could discard both of them. Well, so I guess the more I think about this, we're not doing anything turn 1 anyway. Bazaar is going to give us some great filtering. We're on the draw. Actually think we will keep this. Maybe a little dirtily. But so far I haven't seen anything to tell me my opponent's doing anything too crazy. If we get into a black, we could set up a semi-early Tassiger. Black Lotus. Okay. So I think to be on the safe side, we are just going to run the Putrid Imp out right now. Oh, non-artifact spells. Sorry, I was thinking something else. My fault. Non-artifact spells. Well, I don't really have any artifacts, so that's going to be efficient. Haste and Shroud. Okay. That's fine. We're really just needing to get Reanimate going real quick. So plan his next turn to Bazaar, tossing Angel and Iona. That gives us a look at 3 cards. Phyrexian Metamorph, probably going to match Lodestone. But the positive there is then if I draw a Reanimate spell, I can still cast the Reanimate spell through a double Lodestone Golem. Okay. Now we don't need to pitch anything yet. Vindicate, which is uncastable. Yeah, that's good. We're gonna discard Angel of Serenity, Iona. And we just dead here. No, we can stay alive. Gosh, there's no way this works. So we actually need to cast double Lodestone. Jeez. What's more important, the Vindicate or the Urborg? The Urborg is... Any sort of removal here just ends the game. So now I can see why this was restricted in Vintage when you can run it out so fast. Not add artifact spells cost 1 more to cast. That's brutal. This is lesson learning time. That's what's going on right here today. I think we really should have left Iona in there, or Angel of Serenity. So there's nothing we can do here. We will do this just to see how close we were. Not even. Alright. Well, we got spanked down there. It's alright. Sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles. Don't think that there's anything different I'd do there. We really still haven't seen any black or green creatures on his end. That wouldn't have done anything. Putrid Imp, Reanimate, Balance, Animate Dead, go for the throat. Non-artifact creatures. So far we've only seen artifact creatures, so I'm going to pull this out. Maybe Braids or Kalidas. Or Day of Judgment. Shallow Grave, Oath of Druids, Pentav, Frantic Search, Shondell. So Kalidas is a little bit of a non-bow with some of our removal, actually. So I think we're going to pull Kalidas and come back with... Actually, Academy Rector actually seems decent here. When it dies, exile it, go get Animate Dead if we have something in the graveyard. The flip side of that, again, when it dies, which I can't kill it myself very easily. Maybe overthinking this here. I think we're going to run Day of Judgment. Be on the play. Hopefully we have a nice broken draw this go around. We really don't. So he has made us discard some cards randomly, which is pretty nice. Maybe he can set us up with a Iona here. So he's going to do Lotus Bloom, so in a few turns he's going to get some free mana. Looks like he's off blue. Really wish I had one of my swords or dismembers right now. One more suspend. So it looks like maybe he's shy on mana. He's just going to try and beat us down going into the next turn. He knows he has his Lotus Bloom triggering off. Need to do Mana Confluence now. If he does do another Mind Twist and make us discard the Confluence, that could hurt us with some of our other stuff. He's going to get 3 mana for free, so he's not at 5 mana. He can cast something. Question is he going to hold off on it to try and get his Sweet Phyrexian Metamorph trick? I feel like a big Mind Twist. The Abyss. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, destroy target non-artifact creature that player controls of his or her choice. It cannot be regenerated. He's all artifact creatures. He's got a Black Lotus. Now he's going to crack that, go get himself a Lodestone Golem, Metalworker. Okay. So really we need to get an Emrakul and a way to discard it. Doesn't have any more lands, but he can generate a lot of artifact mana. I think we actually path the Metalworker here. Even though it gives him access to the mana, it's better than him having access to a ridiculous amount of mana. So he's going to float some mana here pre-combat, or pre-main phase. No, yep, so he just realized that isn't going to help. Yes, I mean, show and tell doesn't even really do us anything. Each player's upkeep. Destroy target non-artifact creature that player controls of his or her choice. So I suppose show and telling out Emrakul would be okay with Shallow Grave, because we could recast it the next turn. Oh, so we can run Tasigur out at the beginning of each player's upkeep, destroy target artifact creature that player controls. So if it's we have to wait to my upkeep to get Tasigur. So I think we're actually going to run this out here. So he can attack into it, and if he lets me untap with it, I can try and self-mill myself. Maybe hit Emrakul, Shallow Grave the Emrakul, get the board state. But in the meantime, he really can't effectively attack with Mishra's Factory. And in worst case scenario, we're putting a couple cards in the graveyard that will hopefully get us closer to a reanimate spell. Upkeep, untap, upkeep. While this is on the stack, what's going on here? Alright, we're going to print screen this. I don't think this is the way this is supposed to work. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, it goes on the stack. While that's on the stack, I should be able to activate Tasigur. So I just got hosed. That's fantastic. Huh. Yeah, so I just got kind of effed there. So we don't really want to do balance because we don't want to lose lands. I'm kind of frustrated by that. That should go on the stack. While that's on the stack, I should have been able to mill 2 with Tasker, which would put balance and whatever's next into the graveyard. He would have had to return one of those cards to me, probably balance. Then Tasker dies, I draw. So Vindicate's pretty good. Don't know that we want to run it out yet, though. Definitely the Abyss would be the target. The concern is... if he plays that discard spell, I think we just got to get rid of it. The player puts the top 10 cards of his or her library in the graveyard. Well, I'm good with that. I just hope it's not Emrakul. Really don't want that shuffle effect. For a basic land. Okay. We're hoping for no Emrakul. So there is some question of whether or not I might want to actually Shallow Grave Tassiger here. So Grizzlebrand we couldn't have had it better than Grizzlebrand there. Follow this up with Shallow Grave, go get a Grizzlebrand. Draw 7. I'm going to attack, gain 7, draw 7. Possibly discard Iona. Definitely not reanimating. So now we could show and tell Emrakul. We could cast show and tell Iona actually, which might be better. Lock him off blue, which locks him off. Really only one card. The problem here is if we show and tell. Yeah, so if we show and tell Emrakul, frick. So if he has okay, so if he has whatever that frickin' card is, and I can't think of it right now, Phyrexian Metamorph in hand, and we show and tell, and he puts that while we put Emrakul down, he's going to get first swing. We're going to lose 6. If we go Iona and he puts it down, he's still just going to... Oh, he's going to copy Grizzlebrand. Iona dies. No, because it's only if you cast. So I think it's as you it enters the battlefield as a copy, so it can't enter... So it would enter as Grizzlebrand, not as Emrakul. Right. Sneak a win out of this if we can. Because they do enter at the same time. I don't know. Creature tap target creature. Jeez. Jeez. Alright, well, we'll reanimate Tasigur. We can actually hardcast Iona 2 turns. So definitely looking at... We could probably Putrid Imp and reanimate Tasigur. So he'll just use the staff to tap down Emrakul. So how much does he need to tap it? 4. So he has to keep 4 up. So he can still spend 1 more this turn. we don't want to. Run Tassiger's ability out right now. He didn't tap it down. I think that was just a mistake on his part. I think we just got one. He could have tapped the Emrakul down there. He left the 4 mana up. I think he might have just, it's possible he just was frustrated to see how many other creatures we were able to throw out. Maybe he was realizing it probably didn't matter. Alright, we got the match, 2-1. Wow, that was hairy. I did not, there's a good period there where I did not think we were gonna win that match. So pretty excited to get there, and we'll see you in the next match shortly.